This is Twit.
Dan in the UK, he's at Dan's Galaxy on Twitter. Is it possible, he asks on Twitter, for the NSA to identify a stream of VPN, well, this is very appropriate, VPN data, and then match it based on variable bit rate to the VPN server outbound? I don't know what he's asking.
Well, so now it's an interesting question because he's talking about traffic analysis.
Right.
And so if you had a VPN server, is there a way for someone, and he had his example, he's assuming the NSA would have an interest in mapping the unencrypted public traffic back to the encrypted tunneled traffic? And so this is a concern because it's known as traffic analysis. And for example, one of the things that the Tor nodes deliberately do is introduce variable amounts of delay in their forwarding of the traffic when it comes in the node and leaves the node, because they would like to break the association between packet coming in, packet leaving. And so this is the feasibility of doing this is entirely a function of how busy that server is, whether it's a Tor node, for example, or a VPN server, and also just like how closely someone is looking. So, for example, say that you had a server that only one person was using. Well, you know, it's going to be very difficult to try to convince someone that your traffic that was encrypted going in is not related to the traffic coming out, because, you know, there will be a burst of incoming traffic and an immediately burst of outgoing traffic. There'll be a one-to-one relationship. And so that makes it very obvious. At the same time, if there were 1,000 people all using the server, then to a much greater degree, you're able to hide amid them. But at the same time, if you remember also that normally people are going to a specific location out on the internet, so there will be an IP address where their public stream out of the VPN is going, and then there's an IP address where the encrypted tunnel coming out the other side of the server is essentially going. And so it's a hard problem to really hide from that kind of analysis, because even if there were 1,000 people, one of the things that is characteristic of our use of the web is it tends to be extremely bursty. That is, you click a link and there's a flurry of activity where your browser requests the web page from the remote site. Then when the page comes in, your browser asks for all the resources, another burst of outgoing, and then typically it's quiet for a long time while you, the human, cogitate over what you've just received and read it, scroll, you know, and then maybe click something, and then another furious burst of activity. So the fact that the traffic is as bursty as it is, really, I mean, it helps anyone who even if you had 1,000 very bursty individual users on a single server, you know, here's a burst, there a burst, and then, you know, bursts come in, bursts come out. It's you know, traffic analysis is a way of you know, de-anonymizing their, you know, and associating the VPN user with the public user. And this is a problem for which there's not a good solution. That's one of the things that one of the benefits of Tor is that if the reason Tor doesn't use just one node, for example, if you just had a single Tor node, this would be, you know, it would be easy to de-anonymize. It's by having it hop several times and the nodes deliberately introducing a delay specifically to confound somebody trying to do traffic analysis. So great question, Dan.
Yeah, wow. All that in 140 characters.